lost. True indeed. We lost. Lord knows we lost. I'm about to say something to make you not like me. You might catch feelings and you might want to fight me, but I don't really care, I'ma say it anyway. Why most comedic guys seem soft and gay? I'm not saying all, but a large amount. Have you ever heard the words that come out of their mouth? Yeah, they cuss like a sailor, but they follow my eye. They carry oaks and wear makeup and thinking it's hot. I think they need to stop, this is a new era. I wonder if the pharaohs ever wore mascara. It probably was a death mask misunderstood. Don't let them D-boys catch them up in the hood. Why NOI? Stop patrolling the block. We get shot by the cops and we calling the cops. Come on, y'all was on another level. The black man was God, the white man the devil. Now the white man, or better yet the European, and the Mars and the bean pies are sold by Koreans. I'm talking what I'm seeing, I'm just a reporter. How you call a woman to be and you got a daughter. Talking about the Hebrews that demonize women and choose Esau over brothers and kin. Probably timid, soft, and scared to fight. Yelling and wearing spikes, trying to fake me out right. But you can't fool me, cause you make a little noise. Cause deep inside, y'all some scared little boys. You really wanna ride, let's take it to the beast. Get revenge for people killed by like these. Yeah, right. Y'all ain't busting the grape. It appears that you fear and you in love with hate. Correct me if I'm wrong, we might all don't get along. European psychology got us all gone. You think we divided? Cause I wear fez and she wear oak and he wear dreads. But the vision don't start there, it starts in the head. I'm here to wake you up and get you out of the bed. We lost to get you out the bed. I'm here to spread love and get you out of the bed. The vision don't start there, it starts in the head. I'm here to spread love and get you out the bed. Wake up. I'm here to spread love and get you out the bed. Wake up. I'm here to spread love and get you out the bed. Wake up. I'm here to spread love and get you out of the bed. Wake up. I'm here to spread love and get you out of the bed. Oh yeah, I'm here to spread love and get you out of the bed. Y'all think we divided cause I got a fez and you wear and she wear dreads. Y'all think we divided cause I wear fez. The vision don't start there, it starts in the head. And she wear and he got dreads. Moors need to wake up too, so I'ma wake up you. So we can get together, do what we gotta do. We ain't done much since the prophet left. More standing on law, we still in this mess. Haven't built the town to hold us down. Paperwork can't fear, we looking like clowns. Never been to the temple, claim we follow the prophet, but I follow the prophet. I understand logic. People in the temple, time to hit the streets. Everybody do their part of we ain't getting relief. The murder rate can be more than just gone crazy. Dope fiends ODing in the hood on the daily. Weed waste with chemicals, you drink and serve. We fighting over information, we got some nerve. They say that we conscious, we might know a little something, but we just frontin' cause we haven't done nothing, we lost. You think we divided cause I got a fez and she got a cross and he got dreads. You think we divided cause I got a fez and he got an and he got dreads. You think we divided cause I got a fez?
Yeah. Islam. I'm trying to be your friend, man.
That's right.
Trying to be your friend, bro. Help me out. Meet me halfway. Come on. I wanna be your friend. Peace and love. Let me be your friend. Peace and love. I said you ain't never met a more like me, and you ain't never ever gonna meet one again. Now let me be your friend. Peace and love. Let me be your friend. Peace and love. I said you ain't never met a more like me, and you ain't never ever gonna meet one again. I wanna be your friend. Peace and love. Now let me be your friend. Peace and love. Hey yo, I used to be a thug until I met the prophet. Now I'm all about love, truth, peace, and freedom. Till I return to Allah. One day we gon' meet him. I'm all about justice, that's the focus of the message. Sometimes Asiatics make me wanna forget the lessons. I be all up in my passion from all the Moorish passion. All things considered, I start laughing. A grown man with a ponytail, another calling us Neanderthal, and he all pale. I mean for real, this is what it come to, my brother. We got nothing better to do than talk down to each other. Yeah, we can be scholarly or we can get gutter. We are the children of our Father and the you need to chill, my brother. Tell the elder the same, cause on the real, my man, I'm really about them things. I can take the feds off and get back in the low and return to the state where they used to call me dope. But no, I'm rolling with the prophet of Allah. I want love, not war. Standing on that floor, and I'm holding the square. The compass and the axe that might be too deep. Yo, let's not get off track. See, our prophet was an adept. Do you know what that is? An Egyptian adept is a brother who lived by the universal science developed in the Nile. We call it Islamism, but it's the same, my child. Sit at the foot of a master. I train you up, but I might have to bang you up. I still love you, and those that's talking that this ain't Islam. Everything the prophet brought is in the Quran. All the other stuff, prostrate and cover up, is just the start. The nearest place to me, the law is the heart. You can dress like Imhotep, but you can dress like a herb. Why the Moorish American Muslim unifies the word. You can say what you want about Dr. York, but he gave you different variations of the same thought. You don't appreciate that. You won't appreciate me. Appreciate the holy and divine Drew Ali. People refuse to admit it. He the first that ever did it. Europeans hope that the Moors would forget it, but we here, strong, alive and well, resurrected from hell, with a story to tell. So pay attention and listen and consider the facts. You know it's humanly impossible for you to be black. I guess a Chinaman is yellow, a Mexican is brown. Just think for a second how ridiculous it sounds. We can turn it around, but we must unite. It's okay to disagree, but we don't have to fight. Cause if we have to fight, you know how we get. I'm still learning to love. No, I'm not there yet. So work with me, fam, and I'ma work with you. And let's all work together and do what we gotta do. Cause on the real side, we haven't made no progress since 1929 when the prophet left the flesh. We got an Asiatic president, men marrying men, psycho shooting up a club and don't see his own sin. And those that say they conscious, that took your bucks. Move straight to Hollywood and straight living it up. And y'all bigging it up, straight cheesing and grinning. But it was your bread to help them set it off in the beginning. Be careful what you put in your soul, cause it could blind you. Unfortunately, some people get paid to misguide you, misguide you. Oh yeah, I wanna be your friend. Peace and love, let me be your friend. Peace and love, I said.
He says to Harker Bay, Toronto Johnson. I called for a Moorish court on brother Toronto Johnson. And anybody who's riding with him with this scandal or with these videos of me and my wife frauding the people.
Check it.
I never saw my brothers and sisters serving these packages when I was with Daweed Aleeyah and them and Taj and them used to come to Chicago.
I laid them old boys to rest. They was dead sleep anyway. Sleepwalking. They keep talking. I probably kept the charge. They don't care what any say. Sleep anyway. Sleepwalking. They keep talking. I probably kept the charge. They don't care what any say. Yeah, I'm the people's grand chief, and the people's grand chief ain't seen a man I can't beat. Only the gods is my equal. You mortal, you just my sequel. You just my sequel. What the 85ers? Up to them. Dip divers. Trying to symbolize us. You already dead. Who done got up in your head? Rent free. You wanna know who sent me? Who sent you? Leg, head. I tried to pull you out the bed, but you got a ball groggy. Stop talking real crazy, eyes foggy. Couldn't see you fall. Then I had to bring the dogs. Barking all up in your ear. Acting like barking all up in your ear. Acting like you don't care. Barking all up in your ear. Look at that. Watch me bark in his ear. Watch me bark in his ear. Don't care. Oh, you okay? Barking all up in your ear. Acting like you don't care. Like you don't preserve life. Like you don't preserve life. You don't preserve your life. Oh yeah. And you really don't care. And you really don't care, right? Right? Oh, you don't care, right? Well, we gonna really check that. Well, we gonna check that. respect that. Respect that. Since you say you ain't get to die. I laid them young boys to rest. They was dead sleep anyway. I laid them old boys to rest. They was sleepwalking anyway. I'm the people's grand sheep. I ain't seen a man I can't beat. I laid them young boys to rest. They was sleepwalking anyway. I would take you on any day. Michigan, New York, Cali, where you at? What you thought? From Naptown to Baltimore, everybody on the road is all raw. They ready, choppers. I don't really think they want the problem. Hold up, wake the thought up. Hold up, back to a law. Lay, hey. I try to get up out the bed. Sleepwalking anyway. Sleepwalking anyway. Wake up, keep talking. Sleepwalking anyway. Wake up. I don't care what any say. I'm the people's grand sheep and the people's grand sheep. I ain't seen a man I can't beat. Never. Hey, you mortals, you just my seat. You mortals, let's get it right. You just my seat. Only equals is the gods. You mortals, that's my sequel. I see dead people. There you go. Hey. I see dead people. I lay them old boys to rest. They was dead sleep anyway.
He never stole his people sovereignty package. Not even when he was with Daweed Ali.
You gon' remember, that's right. Hey.
Hold up.
You mortals.
Let's bring it back.
Just my sequel. Only equals is the gods. You mortals, that's my sequel.
He said he's the hardcore.
I see dead people. Hey. I see dead people.
Moorish World TV citizens, they got a Moorish court on you too, cause you riding with me. Anybody riding with him. Let's go.
I laid them old boys to rest. They was dead sleep anyway.
He never sold his brothers and sisters sovereignty package. Only thing he ever sold was crack cocaine. And I asked Allah for forgiveness. Talk to him.
I laid them young boys to rest. They was dead sleep anyway. Hey, people I ain't never met a man that I.
The only thing he sold his people was drugs. Crack cocaine.
Can't be. No. I laid them young boys to rest. They was dead sleep anyway. Hey, people I ain't never met a man that I can't beat. No. The gods is my only equal. That's it. You mortals, you just my sequel. That's it.
I call for a more court on Brother Toronto Johnson and anybody who's riding with him.
All y'all going to court. All of y'all going to court. He calling for a Moorish court on Toronto Johnson, Tahaka Bay, and all y'all that's riding with him. All you Moorish World TV citizens, you're going to court now. Because he calling for a Moorish court. That's right. Asar Sadiel, you going to a Moorish court. Christian News and Interviews, you going to a Moorish court. Sean, Moorish court. King Moab, Moorish court. Sunny Boxing, Moorish court. All of y'all going to a Moorish court. Cryptonomic, Yasmin, all of y'all. And my brother Angel Snup 7, he going to the Moorish court too. Because he riding with me. Because y'all riding with me because He ain't never sell his people sovereignty package. He just sold my little big crack cocaine.
That's it.
I call for a more court on Brother Toronto Johnson and anybody who's riding with him with this scandal or with these videos of me and my wife frauding the people.
Hold up. Let me cut the music before I bring Angel Snup in the building. Family, you hear what he said? He's calling for a Moorish court. Let me talk to y'all for a minute. Now, we have a new segment now where I just got to talk to you. You know what I'm saying? All right, let me talk to you. How y'all doing tonight? Y'all feeling all right? I hope y'all feeling all right. I'm feeling all right. I just want to take 2 or 3 minutes to talk to you for a minute. Or as the old heads say, let me just talk to you for a taste. Yeah. We're going to calm it down and then we're going to bring it back up. Oh, man, these people, when I said I put these boys to rest, I really meant it. People send me these videos on and on and on, and I watch these people going live. Oh, man, it's to the point where it's pathetic now. Did they go live with 5? Let me explain to you what I'm talking to you. Let me explain what I'm talking to you. They go live, not at 5, but with 5. With 5 people subscribed, watching them cry. One got 5 viewers, and one got 15. Oh, yeah. It's to the point where it's pathetic now. Like, give up. Come over here with the winning team. You want a job? What did Tony tell the brother that was against him? He said, you want a job? You want a job, Inky? Sure, Tony. Sure, Toronto. His name is Toronto Johnson. You want a job? Come on over here with the winning team. Clean yourself up. Clean yourself up. Because y'all looking real bad over there. This thing is turning against you. I'm the people's grand sheik for a reason. I didn't choose this. The people chose me. And going against me is going against the people. And when I talk about the people, I'm talking about the real people. So y'all keep on trying. Keep on trying. Because at the end of the day, there is no way that you will be able to defeat the people. You can't defeat the people. The people have spoken. And you are looking pathetic. You looking pathetic. But I say keep on. All of my haters and my trolls ain't nothing but my free advertisement. So we're going to spread this world all around the world. Let me do my Steve Harvey dance. We're going to spread this all around the world. We got the rabbits in the chokehold. The rabbits are dead. And we don't want to see nothing to die. Are y'all ready? All right. We got Angel Snuffing up in the building. Time to turn it up. But y'all are looking pathetic with 5 people watching for 3 hours. Oh, yeah. Looking pretty bad. So let me get this started. I think y'all ready.
I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember. I be that more you gon' remember. To Harker Bay front line till the law call my number. I be that more you gon' remember.
Let's go.
I'ma be that more you gon' remember. That's right.
Let's go.
I be that more you gon' remember.
Take it, stop now.
If you a friend of the Lord, then you's a friend of mine. I was told to watch my enemies, now hold my line. Those that speak against the prophet, they speak against me. And I speak about the prophet over Drew Ali. Who was the first to remind you and bind you back to a rock on the mountains, Mississippi and Quebec? Told you wasn't black, proving it straight back. You tripping off trucks, you need to be tripping off that. Now here we go again, acting like you a slave. The same people talk European how to bathe. And look at that women buying European hair. No love for self, but do the men really care? Hell no, cause they got a love for Europe. Whole generation chasing pills, weed and syrup. Yeah, they love Lil Yachty, Tucci, Gucci, Kodak, Amigos, Ross, Lucid. But where the love for the woman look like your mother, I guess they say it's all black when it's under the cover. Now Cypher, I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember, that's right. I be that more you gon' remember. To Hawker Bay front line till the law call my number. I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember, that's right. I be that more you gon' remember. To Hawker Bay front line till the law call my number. All you super scholars holler, this era for the workers. You ain't building on the ground, then you worse than a twerker. You look and sound good, but that's only on the surface. Probably working for the people. Now tell me what's your purpose. Ain't worried about your homie, but know that I know every mo that rock a fast. He ain't my bro. Yeah, you know I ain't slow. I seen it all before. How they try to kill the prophet, it was all for dough. And some got it right now. Don't say that I'm not down. I'm coming for my vast estate. I want my town, my sheriff, my stores, my school, my nation. Sick and tired of the procrastination and debate. Y'all keep hating when love is the savior. You don't love yourself, so you can't love your neighbor. That's why you killing, fighting, marry out of your race. If you ain't from Moorish world, then get out of my face. Cause Chinese love China, Italians love Italy. If you used to love the Moorish world, come on and build it with me. Let's go. I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember, that's right. I be that more you gon' remember. To Hawker Bay front line till the law call my number. I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember, oh yeah. I be that more you gon' remember. To Hawker Bay front line till the law call my number. Hold up. I gotta stop. I gotta stop. Snap, then burnt the wires up dancing. Good night. Oh, man. Shout out to Yasmin. Shout out to Maida Gibbons. Oh, man. Snap up. You was too on fire, man. You was on fire. You made the wire shut down, brother.
I know.
Well, before we get into it, brother, man, I appreciate you coming on, man. And I'm telling you, man, I think we had a crazy start of getting to know each other. But man, I think we make a good team. Criminal,
I do too.
Crazy. For real.
criminal and crazy.
Let's just embrace it. Who cares?
Fine with me.
You know the amazing thing to me, this is one of the amazing things to me is that, hold on, check. One of the amazing things to me is that how people would make all these crazy statements and act like it bother a person like me and a person like you when, man, we got real problems if we really want to consider them to be problems. These crazy people ain't no problems. The things they say ain't no problem. Like, we got real things. Like, we got real bills, real jobs, real family, real things to be concerned with. So I say we just embrace it. Whatever. Who cares?
Yeah.
But what I wanted to say to you is, brother, they have put you on the screen too now.
What?
they have covered you in a video too for being on Moorish World TV. You know that, right?
No.
Yeah. They didn't made a video about you, and I said, "Goodness gracious!" They just giving us all type of publicity, all type of advertisement. Yeah, they made videos.
I wish some of that stuff would come to my channel.
well, I mean, the stuff that they make up is really not that good, so it's really not getting no steam. But hopefully, I don't think a person understand how YouTube work. It takes a little bit of charisma, it takes a little bit of showmanship, and it takes truth. You know what I mean? You just can't have crazy stories
talking behind a camera, behind an emoji or something, and think people believe you. Don't nobody believe that garbage. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody.
Yeah.
But brother, we back tonight, brother. And some of the topics we're gonna talk on, we're gonna stick on, but we're gonna stick to. But one of the things that we gotta go back to is Yaqub.
Yes. That's what we left off at.
Where did we drop off at Yaqub? Now, shout out to my brothers in the Nation of Islam. I want to make a disclaimer. This is not an attack on your theology or philosophy. This is just something that we examining as a people. And if anyone wish to come on and discuss it, I'll gladly open up the platform to discuss it. In fact, I would love for someone who is qualified on the philosophy or theology of Yaqub to come on and have a truly intellectual dialogue on the subject. I'm just curious about some of the things that I like to inquire about, but this is Angel Snupnup show tonight. And I'm just going, I'm going to pivot off him because he was a member of the Nation of Islam and he is more familiar with the teachers from the Nation of Islam point of view, as opposed from my point of view, who has never been a member of the Nation of Islam. So, brother, Yaqub is the big head scientist who was said to be black as 13 million midnights, and and he created the white man, and the white man is the devil, quote unquote. I mean, you don't believe that the white man is the devil anymore?
The attribute of devil I can get with, but as far as
the devil,
yeah, as a actual living type being, no.
So you know, you denounced everything in the nation
except bean pies. I like bean pies. I ain't gonna lie.
Hey, Troy X, you know I love you. You know I love you. Don't let this brother mess our relationship up. I love you. From the streets and all the way to consciousness, man. This brother, I love bean pies.
Yeah, I love bean pie. I ain't gonna lie about that.
So the rest that, like the Yaqub, you have no, you don't embrace anything of it?
I'll tell you this. A lot of these stories that we find in religious texts or whatever, it might be some type of reality behind it. It's just this story that has been told and we really don't know what it was based upon. And it's just a story that was told through the generations or whatever. Because when you look at the Yaqub story, because when we talk about genetics and hybrids and all this type of stuff, and if you look at the story, I mean, it does have it's realistic in a way.
Yeah, but the way I think the problem is the way that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told the story. He comes off as it's literal and not metaphysical or metaphorical.
Right.
And that's the way he tells the story. He tells it as if it's a real story.
A story, right.
But as time has gone on, people seem to have made the story something that it wasn't like when it was told. Like it's a metaphorical story. It's an allegorical story. It's allegory now. You know what I'm saying? But the original story, it didn't come off as it was allegory.
No. And those who believe don't view it as allegory. They view it, and we are taught, or I was taught in the Nation of Islam, this is the history that was taught by God to Elijah Muhammad. This is God telling us this is what happened. This is not an allegory. This is not a story. Master Farad Muhammad is God. And we say that this is the teachings of Elijah Muhammad. Actually, these are the teachings of Master Farad Muhammad. Elijah Muhammad is his student and his messenger. These are not his teachings. The teachings belong to Master Farad Muhammad.
Right. But the way that he says it is he actually owns it. And he says it like you said, he said he was taught by the Master Farad Muhammad.
Yeah.
So you don't accept any of it on the literal concept.
No. No.
What makes you want to speak out against these stories, or make you want to examine these stories, as opposed to, I want to say, you speaking out? What makes you want to examine them? You think our people are stuck in the Stone Age as it relates to religious philosophy?
I think that's well, I don't think I know. That's a big problem for us.
What?
That's a big problem for us. I feel as though these were things that we need back in the day, 1930, whatever. That was fine during that period of time. I feel as though we've to the point, and let's just say, for instance, if I was a believer in the God concept, at this point in time, I feel as though we are supposed to be the God, we're not supposed to be praying to gods or whatever. We're supposed to be, by this time, the God. These are rituals, these are lessons that's supposed to turn us into God, not stay a child forever and ever. You can't stay a child on and on and on to eternity. When are we gonna grow up?
Right.
We keep calling ourselves, even in 2020, 2022, we still calling ourselves, I'm a child of God and proud of it. You're a grown man, you're a grown woman. How long you gonna stay a child? You know,
Man,
a chick, you can't stay a chick.
Christian brothers, sisters come for you. Don't do that. That's their saying. I'm a child.
What is it that they say? Yeah, you can't be a child forever.
Right.
And
of God,
even when you look at the
you're your mother's child forever, aren't you?
Yeah, but I've become an adult and I can do whatever my mother does. See what I'm saying?
You're still your mother's child, aren't you? Forever.
I will forever be my mother's child, but you grow, and now you're on the level where your mom is at. You can have your children, have your job. You can do whatever your parents can do. You can do, and matter of fact, you can do better than your parents. Most parents want their children to do better than them. So this is where we want to. This is my mindset. This is the way I look at it. If I'm a child of God, God actually wants me to be better than him. Most parents want their children to grow up and be better and do better than what they was.
But didn't Jesus say, what I have done all men can do, and what I have done all men shall be? So,
right.
And even greater things than these. Isn't that one of the Jesus saying? So
that's what I heard.
What's wrong with that?
So, but we haven't gone to that level. We're still on the level of worshiping people. Instead of worshiping Jesus, we need to understand, how do I get on his level and beyond? Because he could only take it to a certain level and he was gone.
Jesus, though. That's the true teachers of Jesus. What I have done, all men can do, and even greater than these, because I go into the Father. You know what I'm saying? So he's saying you can do even greater than him, but most people don't want to go to that level. But now when we looking at the Yaqub, what part of the Yaqub story that you truly denounce? Which part? That they went into the desert? Which part do you? Because we was there for a minute. What part do you truly denounce?
I don't really denounce none of it. It's a story. It's an allegory. It never happened. It's not real.
Brother, you
there's no evidence to show that this ever happened. There's no kind of evidence.
So let me ask you a question. Where do Europeans come from then? In your concept, in your reality?
In my reality, me personally, I don't really care. I just know that they're here and I got to deal with them. So I really don't. I don't trip off.
If you could,
some things we will never know.
But if you,
I have come to the point.
Concept, or you just don't have a concept at all. You just whatever.
Well, I mean, you can come up with all kinds of theories. Nobody really knows. So you wasn't there. So you talk about, well, the white man. You wasn't there. How do you know where the white man come from? Who was there that can say this is what happened? Who's to say that your mother or my mother really is our mother? We wasn't capable of being. We have to take somebody's words to say that's your mother, that's your father. We really don't know.
Right. So
somebody had to be there. Now in my case, my auntie said they was there. Huh?
Mama, baby, dad is maybe.
Yeah, well, but I'm just saying your parents in general, because a lot of us, we get adopted as infants and we grew up with a mother and father. They're not our mother and father. We was adopted. And they never told us that we was adopted.
Right. I got you.
See what I'm saying? How do we don't know.
But I think when you're looking at the Yaqub story, I think a lot of times, because it's supposed to be a historical account, there should be some cross references somewhere. What, when you were in the NOI, and I would ask somebody that was in the NOI this. Oh, yeah. By the way, let me say this. I would invite anybody to challenge or to question my belief systems also. Y'all think that's fair?
I definitely will.
You can want to try a few right now.
I really don't know. I really don't know about a lot about the ideology of the Moorish side.
Yeah,
I have to do some homework on it
first. And again, I say that just to be fair, because I don't want my platform to be lopsided and look like that I'm talking about or lashing out to people's belief system, because I'm really not. We're just having a conversation and a dialogue. But I invite anybody to come forth and they can question my belief system. Just as we dialoguing about this, we can dialogue about Moorish science as taught by Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Most definitely. We could dialogue that now.
And if it's religious influence, chances are it got some stuff in there. So
yeah, you can find it. Maybe we could do that at that show.
Okay. But like I said, I don't like to get involved in things. I'm not in pure ignorance. I know some Moorish brothers, and I was raised around a lot of brothers in the Moorish side.
Nice. It's about truth today. It's not about being nice. It's all about being truth. It's not about
absolutely.
The devil is nice till he gets you where he wants you. The devil is real nice. People think that the devil is a concept of ugly, of meanness, of disdain. Nah, the devil is nice. That's how the devil draw you in.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? The devil can't draw you in with fangs and blood hanging and flames all over the place. Nah, the devil look real nice.
Yeah, so it's about, like you said in the disclaimer in the beginning of the program, we're not here to bash nobody. We're not here to try to degrade or make mockery or nothing like that, because these are beliefs. What I would like for us to understand, we want to examine these beliefs. And I know that you've done your scholarship. I understand that you got your information, but a lot of things that they don't add to the pot that will fulfill and make your pot full. We don't talk about, does that sound logic? Is that, does it fulfill the criteria of common sense and reason and being analytical?
Right.
That's why it's called belief, because belief does not require facts. Belief does not require being logical or common sense. So I could talk till I'm blue in the face. It doesn't mean any difference if a person wants to believe. And it does not make no difference what you show a person. A person is going to believe what they believe. So that's not what I'm not here to try to convert nobody to or try to get you to get out of your religion. I just want us to come here, examine these things. And even when you come to me and bring something, cause me to think, because I could be wrong. Professor, I could be wrong. And that's what this is about, growing.
Let me ask you this.
Growing.
I'm gonna shift just for a second. Mm-hmm. This is Jabari that comes on Sidnetta TV, and he holds the Ankh. Do you believe that holding that up have some sort of power, significance, or light coming from it? I see a lot of brothers that practice the Kemetic science or the Kemetic teachings. They hold the Ankh up like that. You know what I'm saying? Would you consider, which would you consider that?
I consider that as a part of some kind of new religion somebody has created.
Maybe we should. I want to ask Jabari what that mean one day.
I had a conversation with him.
Do you think this is odd? Do you find it? What is this all about? Or anybody know what that is all about?
It's just symbolism of a new religion they've created based upon Egyptian Kemetic scholarship that they made up, because nobody from Kemet taught you nothing.
Man, you hard on them. Don't be so hard, man.
No, but I mean, that's just the fact. Nobody. I talked to Jabari. Is that his name? Did I pronounce it right?
Yeah, Jabari. Good brother.
Yeah. I talked to him. I made a video calling him a fake Kemetic priest.
Oh no, he's not a fake Kemetic priest. Nothing up.
Okay.
He the real deal.
Okay, he came on the video. He told me that I was wrong for slandering him, and I shouldn't have made the video, and I should have talked to him first before making the video, right? Okay, so we in the chat room. I said, well, I have no problem with giving you an apology, sir, but I know for a fact nobody from Kemet taught you anything. I know this for a fact.
That's a hard truth that people got to deal with, though.
You know, nobody from Kemet ordained you to do nothing. You was a Negro born in America.
Oh my God, what?
And you've been here for 500 years. You never been to no Kemet, Egypt.
You didn't say that to no Jabari.
Yes, I did. And
No.
he never made no reply.
He's a Kemetic priest.
Yeah, you could be a Kemetic priest, some stuff that you made up, you manufactured, you fabricated.
No, you
because
can't
nobody
talk to
from
a Kemetic
Kemet,
priest like that. Come on, brother.
nobody from Kemet taught him anything. All this is fabricated stuff that these people made up.
I'm laughing because I don't think they made it up. They got it out of books or something.
But it's made up. It's made up because nobody from Kemet taught them nothing. How long has Egypt, Kemet been extinct?
It's extinct.
For thousands of years.
It's not extinct. This is my best guess. I don't care.
Look,
he said Kemet is extinct.
Kemet ain't nothing but, look, this is the reality. I don't want to, I know I'm going to piss some people off. This is the reality, brother.
Right. Get him mad. Get him
Kemet,
mad. Not true.
Kemet ain't nothing but a bunch of rocks.
Oh, no, it's bigger than that.
It's nothing but a graveyard. These people are grave robbers. That's all thing they've done. The tombs ain't nothing but a large mausoleum for the dead, for the royalty.
No, they monuments for remembrance too, I would think.
No. These things was a big vanity thing for the kings and the pharaohs that was there. When they died, they built all this stuff to memorize the royalty, not to remember the poor peasant guy in the field. Where did you
get this stuff from?
I mean, it's common sense. Because the only people they talk about.
Who is your teacher? I want to talk to your teacher.
My teacher's just common sense. I'm trying to.
All right, come on.
I'm just trying to analyze the information here.
Right, let's go.
They don't look when they talk about Kemet. They only talk about the royalty. They always talk about King Tut or whoever. They never talk about the peasant that was in the street. They never talk about the person that was selling oars on the corner, or the slaves or the.
You know what, brother? I don't mean to cut your wisdom, but that is crazy that every time we talk about history, the Moors do it too. They always talk about the Moors that was the ruling caste, the Moors that was the great leaders, the Moors that was the great conquerors, but you never hear about the one that was sitting down and making the beer, sitting down, making the stew, sitting down, making the mud house. You never hear about them. But you always hear about the great kings and queens, and we are kings and queens. Everybody wasn't kings and queens.
It's impossible.
Not everybody.
Everybody can't be. Oh, I just made a video about that. Look.
Somebody got to be subject to the kings and queens. We're going to get back to Yaku. We bounced around.
But we got to talk about all this stuff, though. Look. You want to be a king. Okay, y'all want to be royalty, right? Now, correct me if I'm wrong. You want to be royalty. Oh, yes, I am the king and the pharaoh. Yes, we're the kings and queens. Okay, look. Okay, you got to take the bad with the good. We do know that the kings and the queens, the royal families, they practice incest. Those people,
they did
marry those people. The father would marry his daughter. The mama would have sex with the son. They kept that blood in themselves. That's what they practice for I don't know how long.
No, they say that's allegory, metaphor.
No, that's what the royal family done. Even in Europe, they was doing that kind of stuff because they didn't want to get their blood mixed up with the regular folks out there.
Right.
This is what they practice. So that means you must believe in incest because that's what they did for generations. They practiced incest.
Oh my goodness. That's your people, though.
Not my people. I don't want to be claiming no people that practice incest.
You ain't got to want to claim them. You are a part of the African diaspora.
Not as a Negro, no.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you call yourself. It's what you really are.
No, I see. That's another thing. The so-called Negro in America, we ain't Africans.
Oh my!
The so-called Negro in America, we ain't Aboriginal either. So don't get ready to hoop and holler. You ain't that either.
What are we?
You are just like Frederick Douglass said. Frederick Douglass said that the Negro is a brand new hybrid that came off the slave plantation, a new admixture people.
Right.
That's what we are. Brand new.
But
we carry that DNA. DNA.
I think that's the point, though. I think that's the point. The point is not that we are the literal African as we see today and the African of yesterday. But we are connected by DNA.
Yeah, but you're also connected. You got other DNA in us also.
Yeah,
we have native. We got Aboriginal native in our bloodstream too. Also the European.
Yeah, but people acknowledge the African strain because the African is more prevalent. Just like your nose is more consistent with probably somebody in Uganda than it would be to somebody in Italy. That's all.
They say you can't. They said that you can't do that. They said that you can't use this as an example, but I use this as an example because it still rings true. My dog Angel was a half German Shepherd, half Chinese child. She looked like a German Shepherd. But the American Kennel Association, the American Kennel Club will not accept her as a German Shepherd because she has Chinese child. I don't care what she looked like.
Right.
I don't care what she looked like. And anybody out here that you sell purebred animals, you know how that stuff works. If they know that dog, I don't care what your dog look like. If they know that dog is connected somehow with another breed, it's not pure. It's not going to be accepted.
Absolutely. And so I think that's why I consider myself and I can prove it rightfully so, a Moorish American. I don't consider myself African is actually a continent, you know what I mean, with over 60 some countries on it. So to say African is an ambiguous term at best. But I think when people say African, I think what they're saying is they connected to the people in the phenotype, not necessarily saying that they're culturally Africans today. You see what I'm saying? Because you have your nose is the same nose of 3,000, 5,000. Your lips are the same lips from an African or Olmec over 5,000 years ago. Just because you're here, it doesn't take away your phenotype. You feel what I'm saying? That's an African nose or an Olmec nose, where Olmecs would be indigenous and an African indigenous from Africa. You see what I'm saying? So I think that's the argument, not saying that they're the same African culturally as we see today. I don't think that's the argument, though, Snuff.
Well, that's nice. But see,
you want to be a Negro?
For me, I'm not going to say that I'm a Negro. That's something that the cracker put on us or whatever. I mean, this is 2022. We're supposed to be free. You can determine and come up with your own. See, I'm happy with being who I am in the skin that I was given. I have no. It's like your parents. You can't choose your parents. If your father was a crackhead and your mama was a prostitute, that's your parents. There's nothing that you could do about it. Right. I have no choice in the game as far as where I come from, who my parents were. But now I'm an adult and I'm grown. I say that the once called Negro in this country, we are a brand new, unique people. Absolutely. And we should embrace who we are and accept that we don't have to sit around here trying to be something we've never been, because that's foreign. And who are they anyway?
But see, the thing is this, Nup. I think when you cut the branches off the tree and the tree can't connect himself back to the root, that causes more confusion. So it's not trying to be the people of yesterday today. It's understanding your connection to your people of yesterday so it can make you better today, because you can see their accomplishments. Let me give you an example. I like this conversation. Let me get an example. Here in Baltimore, they got a place called Greek Town, right? Every year they have a Greek festival, and they shut down the street on Eastern Avenue in East Baltimore. Now, what they're doing is they know that they are not the Greeks in Greece 1,000 years ago, but they do the ceremonies, the dances, the festivals that has been going on for thousands of years, so they can remind their children of their greatness, so they can celebrate their greatness. And so their children begins to build their self-esteem around the greatness of yesterday. And so when you look at our people and you cut off what they did yesterday, whether it's painted with a wide brush or whether you can narrow it down to parts of West Africa or indigenous America, when you neglect to connect yourself to that, what do you have to really teach your children to live up to? I think that's one of the arguments.
Well, this is the problem that we need to, or this is something where we have a misunderstanding. We've never been part of those people. We carry the trace, we carry the DNA, but our origins are right here on a slave plantation. I know there's a lot of people that don't like to hear that. You know, we come from Africa or whatever. No, I could break it down real simple and real quick if people could keep up with it and show you beyond a shadow of a doubt. I've been listening to Dr. Clark and Dr. Ben. I've listened to all these different scholars. I'm listening for something. I'm listening for the actual connection besides of what we look like, a physical. What is our actual connection to Aboriginal people or Africa? And I don't see the actual connection.
Let me ask you a question. What type of connection do you mean when you say that? Because you mentioned physical. So when you say actual connection, what specifically are you talking about? Do you want to see the slave ship manifesto? Do you want to see how they took indigenous people from the north part of the United States, put them on a boat and took them down the Atlantic and dropped them off at Florida and Mississippi? What would you like to see? Because those things exist. You see, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about slavery. And a lot of people make crazy arguments about slavery. Where are the boats? Where are the boats? That's the goofy argument, because people don't understand that during slavery, the boats was cargo ships. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And so when they stopped using them for slavery, they started using them for other forms of cargo. And so they used them until it was done. Like somebody in here now saying, where is the slave ships? I'm telling you that they were no more than cargo ships. They was simply made to transport people, and then they converted them to transport cotton, to transport spices, to transport everything. So the ships just kept using them until they were destroyed or was unable to be used anymore. That's what you have to understand. We were cargo. So that's where the slave ships went at. And there's a few around, but not much, because they kept using them. They was business. It was business. But now let me say this. You can actually find the manifestos of these slave ships, and you can also find from the manifestos whether the slaves was picked up from the Ivory Coast, whether they was picked up from North Africa, West Africa, East Africa. The manifestos exist because, again, they were cargo. And it's no different. It's no different than when a tractor trailer goes to a port here in Dundalk, or in any port, any city that has a port. They grab the tractor trailer and they put that thing off the boat and sit it on the tractor trailer, and the tractor trailer drive off. That's what slavery was. Do you know what I'm saying? You went to a port, they dropped the slaves off. They went to another port, dropped some more off. They went to another port, dropped some more. It was business. Do you see what I'm saying? So now I say this. Every time they dropped someone off, they had manifestos. The same way when someone goes to a port, a shipping port today, there's a manifesto as to what's on the back of the truck. You follow me? It's a manifesto. So that's what exists. Not necessarily all the boats. Not many boats exist because once slavery was abolished, the boats was converted to be used for other sorts of cargo. But my point to you is that they had the manifestos coming from Africa, and they also had the manifestos where they would take people from other parts of the United States, put them on a ship, and take them around to Mississippi or wherever they would take them on down south, and they would claim that these are African slaves. Then they would sell indigenous people as African slaves because they had the theory that the African slave was more stronger than the Indian slave or the American Indian slave. So they would doctor it up and say, we bought these from the Ivory Coast, but in fact, you can get the manifesto and see that the manifesto, the boat was in Maine or the boat was in New York. And then they're swing that joint around. And so my point is, you say that we're not from there. I'm telling you that you can pinpoint where most of, not everybody, but you can pinpoint where most of the manifestos came from.
Okay.
You can pinpoint. And I agree with Crypto.
I'm not going
Most of us didn't come from the African shores through the way of slavery. Most of us were right here. But the thing that they did was they would load people up and they would claim that they were from Africa. They would claim that they're African slaves. And then they would just take them around to another part of the United States and they would sell our people as African slaves. But many of us are indigenous to right here.
Yeah. Like so many of us, I was raised and I was taught in school that we were Africans, you know, come from the Alex Haley story and blah, blah, blah. I was taught that.
Let me say this one more time. I agree with you, William Alexander. I never said they brought millions of us. You got to listen to me close, brother. I said that most of us was already here. And what they did was they just shift us around the continent from Brazil to Maryland to Mississippi. All they did was shift us around. That's all they did. So brother William Alexander, and I'm telling you, I got all receipts for what I'm talking about. I'll show this channel can go to that. But let me get back to Angel Snuff now.
Yeah.
I think it's more about the connection that people are looking for, not the literal, like, I was an Igbo, I was a Shanti, I was Fulani. Now, and I think that's going too far. I think that's going too far. Even the term Moorish is a political term. I could break that down like it ain't nothing. Even the term Moorish is a political term. It's like when somebody come to America and they become naturalized to become a citizen. That's just a political term. They're not indigenous American. It's a political term. So Moorish can be both twofold. It could be literal and it can be political.
Gotcha.
That's right. A lot of people, if you go to China today and you become a citizen of China, that's a political designation. That don't mean that you're Chinese. You know what I'm saying? So I want to, Calvin Thornton, let your guest talk, please. No, Calvin Thornton, this is crazy and criminal. We talk together. That's my brother. But I want to go back. I want to go back to because you had some more thoughts about Yakub. We're just having a conversation, family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'll let you join later.
Let me let's do this. Let's get back on the Yakub real quick. We're gonna go back to that too.
It's all good. Brother, you know, you are going to be, I'm going to work on putting a podcast together, Criminal and Crazy. And
Criminal and Crazy.
I'm telling you, we're going to put podcasts together. We're going to blow up. We're going to be like $1 million worth of game, Criminal and Crazy.
No doubt.
But go ahead. I wanted to hear what you had to say about Yakub because I kind of shifted a little bit. But go ahead.
So, okay, according to the story, where we left off the last broadcast, you had the devil being created on the island of Patmos or Palan. Okay,
right.
This is where. So we're at the point where the white man has been created, and so what happened was, and this is long after the death of Yaqub. Now, what makes the white man a devil, according to the teachings, is because of the process that it took in order to make the white man who he is. And it was a series of killing the dark to save the light. That's how the white man came into being. You had to kill the dark to save the light. Now, I'm pretty sure you're from a generation, because I know I remember. You remember at one time you had to get a blood test in order to get married. You remember that, right?
Yeah, years ago. Yep, years ago.
Yeah, years ago. And Elijah Muhammad said that comes from the days of Yaqub, where they had to lie to the people because they didn't want the dark people to marry the light. They want only the light folks to marry light. So if a dark-skinned person wanted to marry a light-skinned person, they would tell them your blood don't mix to keep them apart. And also they would kill the dark babies. If dark-skinned babies was born, they would tell the mother that your baby went to heaven or something, tell a lie. And it was only saving light-skinned babies. You had to do that in order to come up with these light-skinned folks, in order to get to that Caucasian DNA. So that's the reason why Elijah Muhammad called them a race of devils, because the process of what it took in order to bring them out, to bring them into existence, it was a system of lying and murder that caused them. And so that's why they like to lie and murder, according to the story. That's right. Why they are who they are. So now my question, I never questioned it. I was 18 years old. I never really questioned. I accepted the teachings on face value. But my thing is, so I never thought about it. You're saying that the white man's the devil, but this process of what? So I guess they was trying to say that the original people, they didn't lie, they didn't steal, they was just perfect righteous type people. I guess I don't know. But mind you, it was a black man that kicked this off. It was a black man that did it.
Yeah, that's what made him kick that off, though.
According to the story, it was just something that was in him when he was a little boy. And he told his uncle when he was a little boy, I'm going to create a people.
He was playing with magnets.
With magnets. Because, magnets, opposites attract. He said he's going to create a people that would be like magnets to the black man. But the black man would be attracted to him. And I don't know. See, there's a lot of truth to the story, but it's a story. But it's got a lot of reality but I understand why we don't rebel against the white man. We don't really rebel and revolt against the white man.
No, don't say we, say you.
Okay, me. Well, us as a people, you don't see it in historicals. There's no evidence to show we really don't, as a people, we're not really rebellious against.
Well, let me show you back. Let me take you back real quick. See, this is the part of history that people don't really acknowledge, that this color designation for hate or disagreements is a fairly new thing. It's a fairly new thing. This color thing, this color coded thing, that's not even 500 years old. It's fairly new. See, back in the day, Europeans, it was nation against nation. So it was the French against the Italians against the Russians against the da-da-da. And when they went into Africa, they was going against tribes. They was intermingling with tribes. They didn't start off like that. You know what I'm saying? That is fairly new.
Yes.
That's fairly new. And so when you look at Moorish history of North Africa, when Moors and the dark-skinned people that traveled from North Africa civilized Europe, you know what I'm saying? When they civilized Europe, they begin to enslave Europeans in the way that they enslaved one another. But it wasn't the slavery that we know today, but it was slavery yet and still. You follow what I'm saying?
Yes.
With that being said, we never was super brutal. I don't want to try to smooth over slavery because slavery is wrong any way you look at it, but we were never a super brutal people. Even when we went to war amongst when tribal wars were feud, before it went to the state of a total massacre, it was always some type of truce, and the dominant just took over the weaker and they became one nation. You see what I'm saying? And the people that they enslaved, they literally was like what they were calling indentured servants. This race, color-coded racial thing is fairly new. And so I say all that to say this. Our people never had to resist oppression as it relates to color-coded oppression. This is a new thing. And that's why we are so discombobulated on how to confront it. We think everybody is our friend. Do you see what I'm saying? But this is a new era of time now. And so now they don't understand that Europeans that are in power and that's in control, they're about get back. They remember when they were enslaved by Africans whom they referred to as Moors. They remember these things. They remember. You ever see the oil paintings where you have the Moor with the European woman? She is about as white as ivory soap. And you ever see the oil paintings?
Yeah.
These oil paintings was mostly painted by French artists because they wanted to throw the propaganda to the people that this is what the Moors have done to your people. And so what they did was they began to psychologically stir up the Europeans. And to this day, the Europeans intellectually are on some get back. We don't understand history. We don't understand that it's on get back. And so they think that one day they just going to say, okay, we cool. And we're talking about the powers that be. So I don't think, to your point, I don't think we are scared to fight the oppressor. I just think that we haven't evolved enough to understand that this is war. And it's not all Europeans, it's the Europeans that are in power.
Yes.
That control the wealth, that control the politics. So if you want to change the dynamic, those two things that you have to consider: get control of some politics, get control of some wealth.
Matter of fact, this
but it got to be as a
collective with the story of Yaqub. I mean, just what you just said, but this happened even before Yaqub. Now, the island it was too many of them. They left the island of Palan. They went back, and he never really said exactly where they went back to. I'm just going to say like the tribe of Shabazz. Okay, so they went back to the tribe of Shabazz and intermingled. No big deal. They became part of the population. These strange people, whatever. But pretty soon, according to the story, they noticed that these black folks started acting funny. They started killing each other, gossiping, lying, slander, and they're trying to figure out what has happened. And so they figured out all this wasn't happening until these pink people showed up, and they blamed them for the behavior, these behaviors of the people. And so it was decided by the king, round them all up, and they got to get, I don't know where they're going, but they got to get the hell out of here. They started rounding them up. Now, Elijah Muhammad, according to the story, said there's still white people in that area, because some of the black people hid them. So that's why there are still white people in that area.
But what area is this?
He never really said. I don't remember reading exactly what area it's supposed to be, but that's why they are in Mecca, Arabia, in the desert. They in Africa because of this. They was hidden by some of the people. They was hidden. But they rounded up as many as they could, and they stripped them of everything except a piece of cloth to cover their shame, and they marched them across the desert to Europe. And then, see, this is where it coincides with what you was talking about. Now, these people are holy and righteous, right? They're holy and righteous and goody two-shoe. Why wasn't, for me, why is it necessary? Okay, you don't like the people, they troublemakers. Okay, I got that. Why is it necessary for you to strip them down to nothing with a little cloth, little cloth to cover their shame, and march them across the desert? Who knows how many of them died, to Europe? That's inhumane. That's, to me, that's inhumane. And so I was thinking about that. I'm like, why did the white folks, according to this story, you just said or gave the reason why the white folks so angry at dark-skinned people. If this story is true, there was no reason for you to do to them what you done and march them across the desert like that. Then, once they got dumped in Europe, according to the story of Yaqub, that's what happened. When they got dumped in Europe, they degenerated to a beast-like state, became cavemen or whatever, and eating their flesh raw and doing all, hair grow all over their body. They became the caveman. Now, my question to you is, brother, say for instance, you and I, they just grabbed us and just threw us in South America somewhere, in some unknown, just threw us, dumped us somewhere. Now, just because, okay, not only us, but our children, whatever. Right. Okay. Now, these people, remember, these people were civilized. They got dumped into Europe. Now, just because you and me got dumped into a forest somewhere, does that mean we're going to lose our civility? It's not. We're still going to know how to do certain things. We're still going to know how to do, and we're going to pass those skills to our children. We're not going to.
That's not necessarily true, though. That's not necessarily true. Because this is why that's not necessarily true. That's not necessarily true because, you can maintain your core nature, but you will leave some of your cultural overtones because culture can change. So a lot of things that we do from culture. You eat with a fork because it's the culture. You see what I'm saying? Some people in Africa eat with their hands. Some people in China eat with sticks. So it's the culture. And so it depends. You know what I mean? You can't change your core nature, but you can change your culture. And a lot of things that we see being done is cultural that we mistake to be something that is essential. You follow me? A lot of things we see. It don't be essential, it just be cultural. So a lot of things that we see Europeans doing is cultural because they lost from what they were used to over time.
Absolutely. Right. But
I don't believe in the story personally. I don't think the story is
But if you and I
for the story to be literal.
But if you and I are civil and we have the knowledge, if we have the knowledge of making a gun, we have the knowledge of digging for oil. If we got this knowledge, if it's possible, even in this new environment, we're going to try to express those things even in this new environment. We're going to try to express those things because we have that knowledge.
So. That's not necessarily so. Again, when you look at the castles in Europe, many of those are Moorish castles. Show me one of us who have built the castle in the last 100 years. Those was built by us. These castles are known to be Moorish castles. I'm talking about North African built castles. When we look at those castles in Europe, those are Moorish castles. And I ask, show me somebody who built a castle in the last 100 years.
I don't know. I'm waiting for somebody to build a pyramid right now.
So this is what I'm saying. It's easy to lose knowledge of how to do things over time. That's something easy to be done. Like, for instance, you take us right now.
Mm-hmm.
You take the average person, right? You take the average person from our community. Back in the day, right? And this is the last 50 years. My great-grandfather, he passed away. My great-grandfather, he used to work for a Navy yard. And the story goes that my grandfather and his buddies would take wood that they was used to build ships. This is my great-grandfather. He's long gone now.
Mm-hmm.
Died in the 80s. He used to take wood from ships, and they used to grab pieces and pieces and pieces and pieces until they had enough to build the house that we all grew up in, that we all played in. They built this house from nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Follow what I'm saying? You take the average person today, even with a job, they couldn't go to Home Depot and build a house.
No.
Now, this was commonplace in our community in the 40s, in the 30s. This was common. You follow what I'm saying? Many of our people today don't even know how to farm, more or less than even make a garden. So it's not always true that we will be able to take that to the next step. Like, for instance, before, look how fast we lose. Look how fast we lose information. Before the integration, they had little schoolhouses in every community that was built by the men in our community. You follow me? And they would teach the little girls and the little boys in our community. Today, you don't see nobody attempting to build a school. I ain't talking about purchase one. I'm talking about build one.
Mm-hmm.
Knowledge gone.
Absolutely.
Gone. And that's just 50, 60 years. So you're talking about a European being in a place of isolation for thousands or 20s of thousands of years. They're gonna lose something. I think that's what goes with the story. But I more so subscribe to natural selection. I don't really go with
But that's the story. And that sort of explains, or like I was saying,
you keep talking to me, you're gonna be a Moorish American. I see, I be catching you, you be getting shook. You're gonna be a Moorish American. I'm gonna have I got fans for you. Now go ahead. What you were saying, I don't want to disturb your thought.
That gives the reason of why they would hate dark-skinned people if they would remember being drugged across the desert and that mistreated like that. Of course, they would pass that down. They would remember those type of things. Even in that story.
I think it's more recent though. I think it's more recent because the last stronghold of the Europeans was the Moors. The last stronghold. What I mean is, I like this conversation, brother. You bring out some good stuff that I'll be having in my brain. So real quick, and then we got to go to. I want to talk about the hair in a minute. I like that. So, and I'm gonna start doing presentations on this. So when you look at like the slave trade, for example, you look at how it kind of started as a commerce thing. You feel me? Mm-hmm. And if we take the race out of it and understand that it was business, because before the slave trade, before the trade of African slaves, it was the spice trade that was big business. You know what I'm saying? People will go across, caravans across the desert, the Sahara Desert. They would just go and they would trade spices from India back and forth. The Europeans, you follow me? The Europeans would go through Constantinople, you follow me, over there where Turkey is, to get to India. And that's how they would get their spices? Well, when Constantinople was conquered by the Ottoman Empire, they had no way to get the spices. And so, as you know, Christopher Columbus trying to find India, they never tell you, you know what I'm saying? But he's trying to find India, so he's going down, they're trying to skirt around the edge of Northwest Africa to try to find India. You follow what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So in that, they also know that spices are coming through North Africa by the way of the Moors. Now, the Moors are also and the Muslims, the Moors are also, some people say the sugar trade. If I miss some stuff, you know I'm getting to, I just want to wrap it up real quick. Now, you know that in North Africa, the Moors are also have just been expelled out of Spain. They've just been expelled out of Spain. And so when you're talking about the spice trade and they seeing all these slaves by our own people, they begin to get into the slave trade too. And so this is how you getting slaves getting on these ships at ports in North Africa, whether it's Ghana or whatever the case may be. It started because the European rerouted. And then Spain also wanted retribution for how the Moors conquered and dominated Spain. So it's a twofold thing. It's a twofold thing. You know what I mean? It's about business and then it's about revenge. So when you talk about the Yaqub story, that story is like, it's way back there. But this is recent. You follow me? This is recent of the Europeans that's in power. And so Pope Nicholas gives the order to enslave all Moors. So it's about power. It's about who's in power. And they want to conquer this somebody put in there the sugar trade, the spice trade, and they're going to get them Moors out the way or dark-skinned Africans out the way. So it's all about money. And so to your point about the revenge thing, that is an ongoing thing. That's an ongoing thing. So I think the Yaqub story, is way back, because this revenge thing is really on our heels today. You know what I'm saying? Like we intellectually slaves, we intellectual slaves right now. Nobody got put no chains on you, as they say. We intellectual slaves. But now let me say this to you, bro. You said something about the crazy belief, and you said it was, I don't know if you said it was crazy, where people say our hair is antennas.
Yeah, I was told that before. Our hair, some of y'all probably have heard this before. I don't know. I guess I can't communicate with the universe because, but somebody said, and they were Hebrew Israelites. This person was a Hebrew Israelite person. Israelite, Black Hebrew. I don't know how that stuff goes, but they told me.
Hold up. They know how that stuff goes. The Hebrew Israelite. They're my people.
Okay. Hebrew Israelites. Okay.
That's right.
I heard they don't even like to use the word Hebrew. I heard it. They just say Israelite.
Oh, they might change it up because we got to keep up. Sometimes people do evolve and say no more Hebrew because Hebrew is a language. We're Israelites. So that makes sense. Israelite. That makes sense.
But I was told that our hair is special or whatever. I don't know exactly how special it is. But for some reason, our hair is connected to the universe and we should be able to communicate with the universe through our hair. And I'm like, how? First of all, we know that our hair is nothing but dead cells. It's not any kind of metal. So how does this work? And what kind of messages are you getting? Because you still acting like a regular Negro. So what kind of messages are you getting from the universe? You know, this person that told me that every other word come out their mouth is a 4-letter word. Kiss my and blah. What is the word? What is the universe telling you?
So,
and most of the time,
do you know who the Hebrew was, or just was a random one? Because we
there
can't
was
have you talking about Hebrew.
it was a sister that used to come on my platform all the time, and I used to talk to her all the time, and she was telling me that our hair, we can talk to the universe because of our hair, and I'm like, okay.
And so did she ever tell you what she communicated with the universe?
No.
What I've heard is that your hair is like antennas, and it can bring you certain frequencies into your intellectual being or spiritual being, though.
Right. So how does that work?
Because we're energy, and your hair is as it said, is a conductor of that energy.
So how does that work? I mean,
so let me tell you something. You ever have a static shock? You ever see static and it raised the hair up on your arm?
Yes.
It works just like that. Energy is everywhere. And so when you're talking about the locks, or you're talking about not cutting your hair, the same way that you have static that can raise the hair on your arm, that also happens to the hair on your head. But the energy that it's attracting is a high frequency energy now, let me be clear though. I don't think a dumb, silly fool, just because they got some dreads, will be able to tap into that frequency either. However, I'm telling you that we have all seen it as children, where from static, the hair on your arm raised. We even get static shock. So we're talking about energy. We're not talking about a silly fool just and drew some dreads and talking crazy. We're talking about people who are in tune. So maybe the person that you was talking to, they just heard it and they're just philosophizing it. They're not really living it and understanding it.
Well, the question still remains. What's the message that you're getting?
Like I said, I don't know about the message. I'm saying that it's a conduit of energy, and that energy helps power you. You are electrons, protons, and neutrons. And so your thoughts are not your body. Therefore, the energy that enter into your body is something of the unseen value. You see what I'm saying? The thoughts
but you don't need no static electricity to live.
No. Oh, yes, you do. You need electricity to live. You do.
Yeah, you need the firing of electricity and all these different chemical things.
Yeah, you definitely need electricity though. If you have no electricity in your body, you're dead.
Right, I understand that, but you don't need that to live. You have people on death row that ain't nowhere near no electricity, nothing. They have to sleep on concrete blocks. And they live for decades and decades and decades. They don't get no static electricity, nothing. They live like that.
No. The electricity, brother, it cannot be contained within or without some walls that we see by eyes. This is something that's a phenomenon. Like when we see how lightning can go through. Anybody ever seen that before? Lightning can go through a window without breaking the window. You ever seen that? Go on YouTube, check it out. You know what I'm saying? Electricity has the ability to go through a certain frequency and penetrate any and everything to enter certain fields of energy. So that's what it's talking about. I don't think that people are getting messages. I really don't know what that meant. But I didn't hear the person say it, but maybe they have reason for that. But I will tell you that we are energy, and that our hair, our mind can be a transmitter of that energy. I can go with that one. Like me, you know what I'm saying? I'm like you. I'm bald head. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? But I believe that my frequency has been risen to certain levels where if I meditate, contemplate, I can elevate my vibration in order to tap into a certain frequency to receive the energy that I need to carry on to get what I need done. I don't believe in a mystery God. You know, you heard that before. Yeah. I believe that I can raise my frequency so I can have the ability to accomplish what I need.
That sounds more real to me. So why don't we just say that? Why we got to say all this vibrational?
No, because I don't think a lot of people, bro. I mean, I don't mean to cut your wisdom. I don't think a lot of people have elevated their consciousness to understand that it's about raising your consciousness. It's not really about all the physical things, because you're not the body nor the soul. You're bigger than that. You know what I'm saying? You're a living soul, but you ultimately are pure energy. Pure energy.
Pure energy.
You pure energy. Take the mask off. You pure energy.
And so that was on my list.
Somebody said something too. I'm sorry, brother, but go. I want you to finish your thought. But somebody said melanin too. We're going to mention that too, because you mentioned that. But go ahead. I want you to finish. Talk to the people. It's your show.
Okay, so we're talking about energy, and it's two things that I just want to bring to our attention. One of the things that people say is that energy never dies. And then they say that we don't die. Some people say that we turn into conscious energy and we fly around the earth or whatever, to the moon or whatever, when we die in energy. Okay. There's a scientific rule or something somebody was saying to me, and they was trying to explain energy never dies. If energy never dies, then explain when I cut the light off. Then I cut it back off. If energy never dies, what happens? What happens?
That energy didn't die. What you did was broke a circuit. That's all you did. That energy is now harnessed elsewhere. So this is what you did. When you hit the switch, there's a circuit. You putting something blocking the energy. So now the energy is harnessed right here. Until you hit that switch again, you open the circuit. That's why in your house you have a circuit breaker. You're breaking the circuit. The energy is not dying. The energy is still there. You just don't see it. Soon as you hit that switch again, you connect the circuit. Bam. And so the same thing happened when we pass form, or what we call dying. You follow me? The same thing happens.
No.
Your body.
No, because see, what you're missing is, that's what happened. I understand that part. But there's an electric power plant. There's something that's producing this energy. What happens when that dies?
This is the thing.
When the electric power plant no longer can produce that energy, then what happens?
This is the thing. We are so far behind. They just getting caught up with solar energy. We don't need a power plant. The sun is the power plant. You follow me? So as long as the sun exists, there is energy. Energy comes from the sun. That manufactured energy that we use from power plants is not the true and living energy. The true and living energy is the sun. And we can see now that most people don't understand how to harness the power from the sun. The Europeans have been mastered it. If you go to any prison complex in Maryland, any prison complex, what they have done, they are running on 80% electric sun. 80%. You know what that means? Their electric bill is probably at minimum $100, $200 for a big prison complex. Why? Because they harness the energy of the sun. The sun is the true energy. What you see, so what man does is this. Man looks at the universe, and this is what we used to do, but we gave it over to Europeans because we choose to go to sleep. Man looks at the universe and man tries to duplicate it. And so when you're looking at power plants, all you're looking at one who is duplicating the sun. That's all you're looking at. So you can scratch that and learn how to harness the energy from the sun and have the same effect. That's why you got solar panels. That's why you got.
I mean, you still have a problem here, because
if the sun goes, then we all go. That's the point.
But energy never. But energy never dies.
But listen, energy never
never dies, if the sun disappears, if energy never dies, then what happens to the energy then?
That's the thing. That's the thing.
So that means energy dies.
No.
Because energy, you can't have energy without a fuel source. You can't have energy without a fuel source.
Let me ask you a question. Has the sun disappeared yet? What make you think it's going somewhere?
It could.
No. What make you think that the sun is going somewhere? The European.
Well, the sun, according to science,
according to whose science?
According to the white man science.
Yeah,
I know of.
That's my point. That's my point.
And there's many there's a lot of African folks too that believe in it.
Have the sun.
It's a ball of gas.
Okay, whatever it is. The sun.
But the sun is a star. Stars die.
Hey, that's
stars die.
That's what they told you. As much as we know so much from concrete, you say you want to talk about evidence? Let's use evidence. Evidence is that the sun has been here for millions of years, and most likely it's going to be here long after we're gone. So that's the evidence.
But the sun is a star. Stars die.
That's what they tell us. That's what they tell us.
Now, wait a minute.
Because nobody went to the sun and took a specimen. No one went to a star, took a specimen of a star, and then took a specimen of the sun and made a comparison and say that they're the same. That's a theory.
But still, what happens is the sun is not running on its own. It's a ball of gas.
Well,
it's running. It has to have a fuel source in order for that energy to come. Once that fuel source is gone, there's no more energy.
Well, what I'm telling you is the only thing that we're qualified to say is that the sun continues to regenerate itself. That's the only thing that we're qualified to say. It has been regenerating itself for millions of years. For millions of years. That's the only evidence that we really have. That it has been regenerating itself for millions and millions and millions of years. Therefore,
let's not even talk about the sun because the sun has been around for millions of years.
No, that's our evidence. Jesus coming. Is Jesus coming?
But look at this. We said that energy never dies. I can't use the sun as an example because it's for millions of years. If energy never dies, then why do we throw batteries out? Why do we have to keep filling our car up with gasoline?
Because I'm telling you this. The energy was depleted from the battery and it was put into something else that carries that energy. That's it.
And what is that?
But that is an imitation energy too. Okay, let me give you an example. The energy of your phone, right? The energy of your phone. Once your phone dies, the energy went somewhere else. It didn't die. It just went somewhere else. Now, you don't have a GPS on where the energy went. You don't have a GPS. You don't, so the thing is that when you're looking at natural energy and you're looking at manufactured energy, it appears, let me give you an example. When water evaporates and it dries, is that the end all be all? No. When the water evaporates, guess where the water goes? You can't see it, but it goes right up.
Water. We know that water is a fluid. We know that it can take various forms. It's a solid, it's a gas, it's a liquid.
What I'm telling you is that when water...
You can't use that as an example of energy. Energy doesn't work the same way.
This is what I'm saying. When you get water, and people say that water dries, in fact, water doesn't dry. Water actually, what they would call evaporate, or it turns into a mist. It returns to its space. You see what I'm saying? So the same thing with water. People think water dries. Water do not dry.
It evaporates.
It evaporates and it returns to its space. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be held in the clouds and come back down, whatever the case may be. So what I'm saying is energy is the same way. Energy don't die. It only returns to its source. But you don't have a GPS on your eye to follow that.
Okay, if that's true, where does it go? We understand water. It evaporates and it's a liquid, it's a solid. We understand the water concept.
I'm about to give it to you.
What is it?
The energy of that we're talking about, it returns back to the universe where it came from. All energy comes from this universe that we live in, but from the sun, from the moon. Everything has energy from the sun and reflected off other things to give it life. Everything is on this planet. Without this, the sun is the source of all life. The sun is the source of all life. So the sun, everything reflects the energy of the sun. Everything on the planet Earth. That's why if you take the sun away, their life is gone. It's gone. So the problem is that we have taken so many steps backwards in our understanding that we don't really get it, that the sun is the source of all life. You, the plants, the everything.
Absolutely.
Everything. So
what I'm saying,
quite naturally, some energies, as we know it, will return back to the source of which it came. But we as human beings, the energy that we have, we're saying that our energy is a unique, same but unique and a more evolved type of energy. And I don't believe that goes to the sun. I don't know where the energy goes, but we know that energy doesn't die. Then that's just a fact, because the nature shows us this. When you look at nature, shows us that all things regenerates itself. You even regenerate yourself, whether it's through a child or whether it's through, and as the Buddhists would say, birthing again, coming back. You don't believe in that either?
No.
When you die, what happens?
You just rot. That's the end.
You think you the body? That's it?
That's it.
Hey.
That's it. There is no evidence to suggest anything other than that. You didn't know anything about this life before you came here, and that's the way that you're gonna go out, whether you like it or not. You know, you can have all these stories that we want.
But when you look at nature, right? You look at nature reproduces itself. Nature appears to die and come back. But that's not you. But we are part of the greater part, though.
Yeah, but that's not you. If that's the case, my father never died. My father's still alive.
I agree with that.
But my father is gone. My parents are gone.
No, he gone to you.
No, he's gone. But no, he's gone. Ain't no doubt about that.
Okay.
He is Zippo.
So let me say this. If you take a tree, right? You take a tree and a squirrel take an acorn, right? And that acorn is taken by a squirrel a few miles away. Or you take a tree and a tree take that, and a seed is taken by a berry, is eaten by a bird, and that seed is taken miles away. That seed could be far off in the distance somewhere else with no relation or understanding where the connection is to its source. But that don't take away the fact that that seed is from that same source. Just because you don't know what happened, that don't change the fact. What I'm trying to say is that's
realistic. That's realistic what you're saying. Now you show me the same thing in real time using human beings. You can't do it.
No, the reason why I'm unable to do that is because some of the enigmas of this journey makes the journey intriguing and makes the journey, it gives the journey life and interest. So as we have in this talk, the man need stimulants, need to stimulate their mind. You feel what I'm saying? And so man needs challenges like this in order to develop into their greatest self. You follow what I'm saying? Man needs these things. These things, man has been doing this for what we're doing right now. They did this in ancient Egypt. They did this in ancient Greece. They did this in ancient Mexico. What we're doing now, we're looking at the possibilities of man. You see what I'm saying? The moment that you don't begin to stop looking at the possibilities of man, you begin to die. So only thing we're doing is examine the possibilities. What is the possibilities? Do you believe that when we go into the ground, we rot and that's it, that's all? Or do you believe that we're bigger than this flesh that we're traveling in? You believe
when you can show clear, convincing, and overwhelming evidence to those things that you're speaking about, then it's not real. It's not reality. The example that you gave of the squirrel and taking the acorn somewhere else, we understand that. That's realistic.
Right.
But there's no evidence that my daddy is somewhere floating around in space. I'll see you later, son. You know, one of these days. There's no evidence of any of that.
That's back to the point of the mystery God. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We're not going to go and try to be and project the idea that someone is floating around in space, that someone is a spook and things like that. But what I will say is, and I always use this example, if you was to walk in your house and somebody was in there before you walked in there, you could feel the energy of that. You know that, and I know that. You follow what I'm saying? You know that if somebody came into your house and disturbed something in your house, just because you see it, it don't mean that you can identify exactly what it is, but in the subconscious mind, it's embedded there. And then you start saying, man, hold up. Who was just in here? Somebody, you feel that energy. Well, the same energy that you feel in somebody's in your house, it could even be a loved one. You can feel the presence of somebody in your house. If you raise, the concept is, if you raise to your etheric being or your higher self, you'll be able to be in touch with those who are energy outside of the body, because you definitely can touch those who have energy within the body. You can tell when somebody been in there. Like, for instance, I went to the Unity Hall today, me and my son. And when I get there, subconsciously, I didn't know immediately something was out of place. Something was out of place. And so I'm like, I stopped for a minute and I could feel the presence of somebody. And when I really examined the situation, I could see the front had been cleaned up. It was the city because it's an abandoned house nearby. But I could feel the presence. What I'm telling you, that same thing that you feel is the same thing you'll be able to feel with your loved ones. But we're not looking for that because you walk into your house and you're curious about what's going on in your house. That's why you can feel that more directly, as opposed to the people that has gone on before you. You don't believe in that, and so therefore you have no contact with that. That's just how it works. It's the same energy. You ain't see nobody in your house. You can feel it though.
Well, are you confusing energy with your natural instincts? Like, say for instance, I told my baby brother, you can take my car. I do not want other people in my vehicle. When I got to my vehicle, something told me somebody was. I even guessed how many people was in the car. And he said, "Yeah," but it had nothing to do with energy. It's just a instinct that you have.
Let me tell you.
Just like if you're walking down the street. If you're walking down the street in the dark, you can feel. I feel like somebody watching me.
That's energy.
You can feel those, but is that energy, or that's just a natural instinct?
No,
coming from your brain.
Let me tell you something. That's energy. That's energy because your brain tap into the frequency of that which is watching you. When you got into that car, you can feel that energy on each seat that was there. It's not no instinct. You trying to chalk it up as instinct, but that's not instinct. You could feel each energy, that impression on each seat in there. You could calculate that. What instinct? Instinct would say somebody's in the car. Now, whether you can narrow it down, instinct would be somebody was in my car, and you don't have nothing conclusive.
What is the basic definition of energy? You know?
Well, we just talking about a life force, something that gives and keep on giving, something that you can't see with the eyes, but you can feel with the soul or with the spirit or the immortal part of you. I'm just throwing it around.
Right.
But the immortal part of you.
Yeah, so
I don't immortal.
Immortal. See, I'm not into the immortal thing. That's a religious.
That's not necessarily true.
Well, for me,
that's the best way I can describe it.
Right. There's nobody that I know of that's immortal. I've never seen. I don't know nobody. Everybody that I know of lived and died.
Listen what I just said. We was talking about that energy doesn't die. So energy is immortal.
Right. Energy would be immortal. Yeah, but I'm saying that energy dies.
Look, I like how Jeremy put this. Thank you.
I'm saying that energy dies because of this also. If the energy, if whatever it is, if I can't use it no more and it disappears and it goes out in the universe somewhere, whatever, as far as I'm concerned, it's dead. It don't exist for me no more.
No, but
water is different. Water is different because it's just going through a process. It's able to change shapes, and I'm able to use it, whether it's a liquid or a gas.
Let me say this,
or
you just said something. Let me catch this. You say energy goes out to the universe and you can't use it no more. No. What you just did was you just took a part of something and made it the whole. So in other words, you can still use that energy, but the part that you have used is associated with the part that you're going to use. In other words, if I take a spoon, you hear me? If I take a spoon and I put it in, what is the nearest lake beside you?
Mississippi River.
The Mississippi River. If I take a spoon and scoop up some water from the Mississippi River, just because it's in this spoon, don't make it not the Mississippi River.
Exactly.
If you grab a spoon of some water from the Mississippi River, it's the same water. It's the same Mississippi River. Whether I throw this back in the river and you keep yours, that don't change the fact that it's still the Mississippi River. So just because a piece of the energy goes in one direction and you need to get another piece of the energy from another direction or what you would consider another source, don't change the fact that it's the same energy. That might be too much. It doesn't change the fact. Just because the energy you feel as though it's depleted. You think it's depleted. But no,
well, as far as our reality is concerned, it's depleted. You know, you giving these physical examples, but you're not giving us an example of the actual, this energy, where does it go to?
That's what I'm saying. I told you I'm not qualified to say exactly where it harnesses itself to.
Right. This is why
the energy of the sun, I did say that the energy of the sun returns back to its source.
Yeah. This is why a lot of the things that we talk about. I like
what S. Miller say. There are different forms of energy.
Yeah, right. There's different forms of energy, but
it's connected to the whole.
It dies. It dies.
Your battery, you call your battery died. That energy just been depleted. That's all.
But
it returns to its source. Once it out, it returns to its source. That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Everything on the planet Earth, everything seen and unseen, returns to its source. That's what nature tells you.
Well, nature tells me that everything is recycled. That's what nature tells me.
I like what he said. Does the water cycle die?
Is that a question for me?
Yeah. Does the water cycle die?
It's not alive. Well, it does it. It just changes liquid. This thing that we call water, it just changes forms.
That's the same point. That's the same.
So you're saying that energy is just changes form.
Absolutely.
So I'm asking you, just like water is changing form, But you can't show me these different various forms.
I can tell you the manifestation of different forms of energy. A tree is a manifestation of a different form of energy. A dog, a cat, you. All living things are different variations and manifestations of energy. But all living things.
So the other part of this
your father lives in you.
The other part of this question is, do you also believe in conscious energy?
Conscious energy? How would you describe that?
I don't know. From my understanding, conscious energy is I guess you die and you're still able to think. You turn into some kind of energy form, and you still keep your brain, whatever thinking process that you have in your brain, and you fly around the universe to planet to planet. I guess I don't know what conscious energy.
Hold up, I want to get into another one that you said, man. We're gonna go on this. All right. You said that. I think we covered that.
This is why it's called belief. This is why it's called belief, because it cannot be backed up. It cannot be verified in our world here. It's belief, and it makes us feel good. And a lot of these things and these teachings come because they were manufactured for us to give us self-esteem, to make us feel smart. And a lot of us just don't want to die.
Let me say this, though. Let me say this. That's not necessarily true. Our ancestors looked at the universe, and they looked at how the universe functioned, and then they articulated our life cycle as that same function. Like a tree never dies. As long as a tree produces seeds, it never dies.
Yeah, but the individual dies.
Hear what I'm saying? Even when the tree goes into the ground and it goes to rotten bark, it is still alive. It never dies. If you take a steel truck, the truck that came out of the earth and was manipulated and turned into hard steel. That steel decays and goes back into the earth. It's a living thing. As long as it deteriorates, it's still life in it, because nothing, something from nothing leaves nothing. In other words, it goes back into the earth, and now it becomes a life source once again. Everything on top of the earth becomes a life source of everything in the earth. And so our ancestors was able to see that and say, there's nothing dying. Nothing is ever really dying. That is a figment of our imagination. Because even this bottle right here, it came out of the earth. This came out of the earth. And when it goes back into the earth, whether we understand how it gives life back to the earth, it does. It does. And so human beings are the same way. Regardless if we understand the complexities of it, that doesn't change the fact. The whole universe is living. It's a living thing. It never dies. Nothing in the universe ever dies. Nothing. That's a false narrative. Nothing. I don't care what it is. The screen that I'm looking with, that I'm looking at, everything on the earth came out of the earth, and everything that we see on the earth will go back to the earth and start another life cycle. So every part of you that is a part of life never dies, because there is no true death. That is a myth. And the universe tells us that. Think about it. Think about it slow. Everything in the universe, even when we think it's dead, it's giving life to something. Therefore, it's never really dead. As long as it can contribute to life, it never really dies. And human beings are the same way. Now, to try to figure out the phenomenon of where we go, what it do, that's something else. That's something else. But there is nothing on the earth that doesn't go back to the earth and give life to the earth. Nothing, regardless what the European scientists say.
Well, that's true. What you just said is true. But we as individuals, you gone.
So what I'm saying is we are a part of the universe. That doesn't change for us either.
Do you know how
We may
many
not understand it?
Do you know how many trees have died over the millions of years? How many squirrels?
Did they really die?
Yeah, they did. Those individuals came here, spent their time, and they're gone. It's over.
That tree that you say died went back into the earth and was reborn into something else over time. It became something else.
Well, see, the tree that died, okay, the tree fall over, okay. Some of the wood ants eat a little bit of it, and then some mushrooms eat on some of it. It ends up going different places or whatever.
It doesn't matter.
Those chemicals, are recycled. They don't turn into a brand new individual creature.
No. What I'm telling you is that it can only give life if it is life. So regardless of what you're talking about, it goes into this, it goes in that, people eat this, people do that. It can, but the point that I'm making is it can only give life if it is life. It can only give life. So we get that point, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that our ancestors not only looked at that, but they looked at how the universe kept its course. They look at how rivers go into the sea, come back into the rivers and the lakes, and everything keeps its course. The universe keeps its course. Life cycle keeps its course.
Mm-hmm.
So you may be looking at like, okay, this splitting the atoms where the bird goes into the ground and then the bird can feed this, but it's the energy that we're talking about. You see what I'm saying? And so our ancestors looked at this and say, well, if nothing in the universe actually dies, then that doesn't exclude us. We can't actually die. That's a European concept. Do you realize? Let me tell you something. Do you realize that at least 60% of the planet believe in reincarnation? The only people that don't is mostly Christians, European Christians. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that. No.
Did you know that? Majority of the planet believe in a rebirth of some sort. The Bible even teach of a rebirth. But the only people that don't believe that is Catholicism and people that follow the thought of the new wave Christian thought. Let me see. Majority of the planet. That should tell us something right there. That should tell most cultures. Most cultures in Africa, Chinese cultures, Indian cultures, anybody who have an olive, whether light or dark olive complexion, believe in the rebirth. That's an overwhelming majority of the planet Earth. Now we're talking about millions of years. We're talking about million years of studying the universe to come up with this concept.
Mm-hmm.
This is not, I mean, the concept of you die and you go and that's it, that's fairly new. That's a European concept. That's a new concept. So what you're talking is a European concept.
No, I didn't talk to no European about.
No, what I'm saying is that is literally a European concept. Before the development of Christian thought, very few believe that.
You just hit the what they call the nail on the head, whatever.
Very few believed it. So what I'm saying, do you
believe
your do you trust your ancestors or do you trust the European?
I trust myself.
What I'm saying is this: I trust my ancestors, and I would work out. Listen. I would try to work out the equation with my ancestors. You feel me? I would try to work out that equation once I find out that the other is a European equation. I would try to work out the equation with my ancestors because my ancestors have proven to be here longer. My ancestors have proven to have a history here longer. And although we act a fool today, although we act crazy today, although we act crazy out of line today, our ancestors have been on the planet Earth longer than anybody. So I would rather evaluate that. You know what I'm saying? That would just like if you want to trust a car, you know what I'm saying? You want to go with the one that make the most efficient car. If you got the money to, other than that, you just go to the junkyard and get a piece of junk and just hope you make it there. You know what I'm saying? But if you are able to tap into the wisdom and the knowledge of your ancestors, I would use that as my measuring stick before I used anything else. And that doesn't discount the European concept. That doesn't even disqualify their concept. But when you got a people that been here millions of years, I would rather evaluate that first before I just discount anything.
Right.
And then I would trust myself to make a proper decision.
Right. And they got it wrong. They got it wrong. They spooky. Also, a big majority of the planet, the ancient people, because they did not understand the reality of life. They don't understand the reality of things. They got it wrong. And they also made up stories. They also made up fairy tales and fantasy stories to give reason for what they did not understand. We understand the recycle of life. We understand that. There's no evidence, there's no credible proof of no individual waiting somewhere in the heavens, turning to conscious energy, flying around. There's no evidence that you have a soul or a spirit inside yourself. When you die, this mysterious spirit, matter of fact, this mysterious spirit that's supposed to be inside of us, how does it operate? How does it eat? What feeds it? How does it operate? How does it function? They never said those different things. Ancient people were spooky.
Let me ask you a question.
Ancient people believed in human sacrifice. They would take you up on a mountain and cut your heart out to pleasing some God. Brother, so some of your ancestors was doing that also, sir.
Absolutely. But you can't paint them all with a broad brush. You had some that was demonstrating that, and you have other that was demonstrating high science. We choose to examine the ones that was demonstrating high science to examine so we can better make this journey a little bit more easier. That's all.
Okay, so in high science, show me where individual, you die, disappear, and we're going to see you again another time somewhere again. Where is this at?
Let me your high science. Maybe we can't find that in high science, but maybe you and I can tap into the frequency and we can develop it and bring it to the people. Do you have that type of confidence in yourself? Maybe we can develop the high science and figure out how we can bring this explanation to the people.
Well, for me,
because every generation builds off another generation. The part that our ancestors did is done. And if they haven't brought that to us in the fullest extent of the understanding, then it's up to us to try to bring it to the full extent of the understanding.
Well, for me, I understand that a lot of things I will never know in my lifetime.
Yeah, but why would you?
I would never know.
Why would you accept that there's a lot of things that you will never know, as opposed to strive to understand the things that you can know?
No, I would do that, but I'm not going to make up a lie. No, these things are fairy tales and lies that we're making up.
And I want to touch on another thing that you said. You said that people made up stories. A lot of the stories was told in allegory in order to have people to ponder upon, because the brain, again, the mind needs challenges in order to become strong. So this is why you got math equations. This is why you got comprehension in school. The brain needs these things to become strong. The brain is a muscle. You see what I'm saying? And the electric pulses that goes to the brain, it needs to be challenged. And so our ancestors developed these stories of allegory in order to challenge the brain to pull back the cover to try to superimpose a deeper meaning of it. These things are for challenges for developmental process. These things are not to be always taken so literal. And one thing about the Bible is the Bible, it presents a challenge that some of it is literal history, some of it is allegory, and some of it is metaphor. The simple-minded person would take it all straight across as one thing. But the more elevated person would say, and when I say elevated, the one that really pay attention to detail, what they would do is they would try to figure out just what is allegory, just what is metaphor, just what is literal. And so this helps the brain. This gives us life. Challenges gives us life. All challenges give us life. So without challenges, you're one who say, well, man, forget that stuff phony. And you miss the chance to even challenge yourself. And if it doesn't mean nothing after you study it, then throw it away in the time in history trash can. But in fact, you will be amazed at some of these allegory stories that you pull back the layers and you see things in a whole new light. And a lot of things, and a lot of these stories that are allegory of yesterday, they're playing out before us today, because nothing is new under the sun. So if you understand the allegory and you understand the metaphor, there'll be something right in front of your face that you see that you can avoid, or that you also can embrace and make your life just a little bit better. That's what our ancestors did. All of these stories are not fairy tales. Europeans took fairy tales and hid stories in them, but our stories, many of the allegory stories, are great importance and of great significance.
I don't see, this is what I don't understand here too. We have people, and we talk about this high science. We keep talking about the high science, and they understood the universe, and they had all this technology and whatever. But when Africa, because I know that's what you're saying that you're referring to African people, right? You're not talking about the Aboriginal people. Are you including them too? When you speak about the ancestors, you talk about Africans and Aboriginals, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much.
If your science is as high as claimed, then how come your weaponry didn't rise up to that science so that you would have the weapons that could give the Europeans a run for the money when the Europeans came? But you got all this other technology, but you don't have no technology. And even during the time, like during World War II, they were developing weapons as World War II was going on from year to year. Even in the Civil War, they were steady developing technology. So why wasn't these persons, with all their high science and all this kind of stuff, why wasn't they able to develop weaponry to counter what the enemy had? If they got all this high science and understood all these, the energy that flies through the universe and all this other stuff, where was their weapons at?
Well, it's a saying in the More Science Tip of America is that due to that we didn't honor our forefathers and foremothers, basically we have been reduced to slaves. In other words, we did not, once, many a times that we've been in power, we neglected to maintain that power in the way that we treated one another, in the way that we fought against one another. And so the more that we fight against one another, the more we weaken our power. And the more that we weaken our power, the easier it is for one to come in. And so while we're fighting amongst one another throughout history, whom that you call an enemy is now circling the wagons. They're circling the wagons. So while we continue to fight against one another, and this, what you call an enemy circling the wagons, we have no time to develop weapons. See, this is years and years. This is hundreds of years. Let me give you an example. North Africa, for example. North Africa was conquered by the Romans. You follow me? If I'm not mistaken, the Romans. Now, when they conquered North Africa, or was it the Greeks? Romans, Greeks, whatever. If I mess it up, don't worry. Europeans. It was conquered by Europeans. Far before the Moors invaded Spain, they had already conquered that area. And the way that they were able to conquer that area, some of it was they came as friends. Some of them came to Cryptonomics say Greeks. Thank you, Crip. Some of them went to Egypt. And again, I tell you, this color code beef thing is fairly new. They went to Egypt, they learned. They went to North Africa, they learned. Ultimately, they begin to conquer from the graciousness of who we are. Secondly, they would see the inter-conflict of our people, and they will use that to conquer even further. So my answer is the same as before. As long as we are infighting, we don't have the ability to develop a formidable defense. That's even today. Like my thing is this. I could care less if you're a Hebrew Israelite, if you're a Moor, if you're in the Nation of Islam. I think we can still have a conversation, a respectable conversation. You feel what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And we can move on and build something even in the midst of these conversations. The problem is when I disagree with a Hebrew Israelite, not a Hebrew Israelite, because I don't disagree with my Hebrew Israelite brother, just say a brother of Kemetic science or black power, the first thing they want to do is kill you. They want to kill you. That's the first thing that they think about. You see what I'm saying? They can't intellectualize their disagreement. You know what I'm saying? Nor can they stand on that which they say they believe. And so because they're mentally weak, the first thing that they will start saying, they'll start coming with aggression. You see what I'm saying? That's a problem in our community. And as long as we are like that, we would never be able to develop a formidable defense. Never. Listen, in ancient Egypt, everybody would meet to ancient Egypt to discuss the possibilities of man, the possibilities of the universe. People will go to India and have circles and debate the possibilities of man and the potential of man, the potential of the universe. When they left, none of them thought about killing each other. Even though how they disagreed, none of them thought like that. But we are so far gone that the moment that we disagree, the first thing that we talk about is, I'm going to pull up. I'm going to pull up. And again, as long as we are like that, and we've been like this for years, maybe they didn't use the term pull up. We've been like this for years. As long as we like that, we could never develop a formidable defense. And that's the same thing to your answer back then. We wasn't looking. We wasn't looking to battle everybody. We wasn't looking to conquer everybody. We wasn't looking to do that as an ancient people. We wasn't looking to do that. And so our guard was down. That's all. Our guard was down. And today, our God continues to be down. You know what I'm saying?
I would say this also. It's getting late here, but
we're going to come back and do it again. You know, I enjoy our conversation.
Oh, yeah. Now, even let's say, for instance, okay, whether they are Africans or Aboriginal, these melanated people got a severe problem. And that problem is they are extremely tribal. And they are extremely tribal. They don't view themselves as the same. Everybody was in their own little tribes, doing their own little tizzy, and they really didn't care about what other people was doing. Matter of fact, when Europeans start showing up or whatever, the enemy starts showing up, and another tribe got jumped on or whatever, was catching hell by the Europeans, they didn't really care because they probably didn't like them anyway. They don't see themselves.
And you're right, brother. Hey, brother,
Yeah.
you are 1000% correct. I keep saying that we never looked at things from a color perspective. That's fairly new. Even when you look at European tribal conflict, the earth is a tribal. I mean, we live in nations now. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a new era time now. But it's the same thing. It's just tribal on steroids. It's the same thing. It's just tribal on steroids. But the point is that European tribes warred against each other. European nations warred against each other. And so when they seen the European warring against a tribal nation of Africa, of course, that's not their business because they wasn't wired like that. You know what I'm saying? We're only wired with this color thing is because we've been subjected by the pale skinned people of Europe. But we have been rewired to take everything like that. And rightfully so. We should continue to look at it as a color thing because that's where it has come to. It has come to that now. You know what I'm saying? And it's not going nowhere. It is a complexion thing now. But when the European would come on the African continent, no. They didn't look at it like that because there's never was like that. Because the Moors or dark Africans have been in Europe for thousands of years. Around Europeans. They ruled Europe for thousands of years around Europeans. And there was never a color thing. That's a new phenomenon, I'm telling you. Google, anybody in here, Google when the Moors ruled Europe. Now, of course, everybody wasn't for the phenotype Moor, but Europeans called everybody of dark-skinned Moors at that time. And you'll be able to see that when the Moors ruled Europe, you'll be able to see that it wasn't a color or a color class thing. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't that. That is fairly new. And so now that it is right there, we have yet to catch up with the game. All we do is cry. Like for instance, my next show coming up is Black Slaves Surprised and Mad at Biden and Rogan. How you going to be mad because Biden want to give out crack pipes? How you going to be mad because Rogan call you the N-word? Everybody making these videos about Biden and Rogan. Everybody making these videos. Biden giving out crack pipes. Rogan called them N-word. And they want the European to pat him on the head. Don't call me that. Don't call me that. Please. But that's where we're at now. And we have yet to accept the fact that that's where we're at. And it ain't going nowhere.
Nope, not no time soon.
So until we come together, that don't mean come together, worship like I do, serve the God that I serve. That don't mean none of that. That means until we see each other, as you said, as the same, and we are under the same oppression, we would never be able to work together.
Exactly.
We would never be able to work together. Never. You know what I'm saying? Because you said it the best. We don't see each other as the same.
No.
You know what I mean? Deep down in some Moor's heart, they see you as a black person. Deep down in some Hebrew hearts, they see me as a Moor, an African. Deep down in some Kemetic brother house, they see me as a Moor and I'm different from them. You know what I'm saying? Deep down in some other hearts, they see people as a Christian that don't know nothing. But my thing is that regardless of where we at on this journey, each part of this journey is a step. And if I'm on this step, let me be on my step until I get to the step where you at. And if you're on this step, then be on your step until I meet you, or be on this step until you get to where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? It's called religious tolerance. Religious tolerance. Because if we can tolerate each and every one of our beliefs and our understandings, then we'll be able to work together.
Exactly.
I don't have to make you like me. You don't have to make me like you.
And it's not even about like. It's not even about like. It's about, do you really want to solve this problem once and for all? If you want to solve this problem once and for all, then I need you, whether I like you or not.
Look at Grandpa.
We need each other.
Grandpa say, you ain't no more. I say, come and debate me, Grandpa, talkabay@gmail.com. But just be respectful. You see, you ain't no more, but I bet you he will not email me to debate me on the concept. I guarantee you. I would $1 to a donut that this guy would not send me an email to debate me on the concept. And that's the thing. We will put out stuff and say things that we can't stand on, and then get mad if we do a debate and if you get beat in the debate. But one more thing, Angel stepped up. I want to say one more thing before you go. All right. You said that. Hold up. Where is that? I thought I had it. Oh, last but not least, let me get like 10 minutes of this. You said that the sun, were you saying that the sun was not the enemy of Europeans? You said the sun enemy of white folks.
Yeah, that's another thing that people say. I just want to get more understanding on that. I hear people say that the sun is the enemy to Caucasian people. Now, what is true is if they stay out in the sun, and because they don't have melanin, if they stay out in the sun a certain period of time, yes, they are, they're more prone to get skin cancer and things of this nature, whatever. But at the same time, anybody that is exposed to direct sunlight for a certain period of time, you're going to have problems. Matter of fact, the sun can kill any of us. I don't care how dark you are. Anybody that stands out in the sun, direct sunlight, you go out there, that sun will kill you. Every animal, the only thing that I know on this planet that can handle direct sunlight like that is plants, trees, and things. Any other animal, they dig in the ground.
What about all of our people that live closer to the equator for thousands and millions of years?
They're not going to stand out in direct sunlight. Nobody's going to be out in direct. You got to put something over your head. You're going to have to do something to protect yourself from direct sunlight.
And we got some ancestors that blue black from being.
Yeah, but they don't. I see them. They don't just outright just sit out in the sun.
Well, I don't think nobody just stand in the middle of the sun for 24 hours. Right. But the European don't got to stand out there 24 hours. He can stand out there for 20 minutes and suffer from skin cancer.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a lot. I mean, that's simply because he don't have any. He don't have the melanin like that. But you have Caucasian people who live in deserts. They conquer deserts.
Where?
If the sun is the enemy to the white folk, then that means they could not conquer or live in the desert.
That's why they wear the loose clothes like the people in the Arab culture. They wear the loose clothes and they do all that. But I'm talking about they ain't dressing with no loincloth in no desert, not no European, like our people would do.
But then also at the same time, put us in a situation where we don't really belong and we have problems. Like we suffer from sickle cell anemia.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
But my thing is, I think a lot of this stuff that we suffer from is engineered, and we have yet again, while we're fighting each other, we don't have the ability to put up a formidable defense. In other words, we could have scientists working in our behalf to see where sickle cell come from. We could have scientists working in our behalf to see where lupus come from. You know what I'm saying? But we don't have no scientists working in our behalf. We have scientists working for the United States government or working for practices, but they're trained by the United States government, and they don't work to look at that there's a possible connection to a target of our people. So we say, okay, sickle cell anemia is with us. Well, hold up, wait a minute.
Isn't sickle cell anemia genetic?
It's genetic, but where did it come from? You see what I'm saying? What scientists have done some research to find out why it affects us primarily. Where's the research for as I just said, what I just named? Let me just say the diseases that affect us. We don't have no scientists working in our behalf to look at the probability that this has been introduced in our community. None, not one. You understand what I'm saying? Lupus.
Absolutely.
There is not
it's
one.
It's the same thing with we don't have.
So again, while we're fighting each other, we can never form a formidable defense to anything.
That's why. Yeah. Well, that's why the concept of Operation Exodus Mississippi campaign, taking control of a state, you also take control of the state laboratory. You have to have something to work with where you can bring in your scientists and you can work on your own vaccines. You can have opportunity to do something for yourself. But again, like you say, this cannot happen because we're all divided up. Why don't we have a conference? Why don't we have, you want to debate? Why don't we debate on the things we agree upon?
Well, let me tell you something. Most of our people most of our people are super indoctrinated, bro. You know what I mean? Most of our people are super indoctrinated. They don't even know that they not functioning on their own mind. And that song where I say, who done got up in your head rent free? The oppressive European is living in most of our people's head rent free. In other words, they got their feet up on a coffee table. You see what I'm saying? And this is people with unks, people with fezzes, people with red, black, and green flags, people with crosses. Like you can, if you tear back the layers, man, they not thinking in their real mind.
No,
they're not thinking in their real mind. You see what I'm saying? So there's no way. Let me tell you something. Angel Snup, most of our people are so struggling to pay the next bill that they could care less. You know what I'm saying? That they could care less about a conference of what we can work together. It is what it is. They could care less. You know what I'm saying? They worried about the next bill. And even like I could tell you this. When I remember years ago, I used to go to $1 million homes or $500,000 homes, if you will. Somebody would see a flyer. Somebody would see an ad in the newspaper. They would call my company. I would go to $500,000 homes. And many of them would want a payment plan to put a hot water heater in their house. You know what I'm saying? Because they would use their money in such a way that it looked like they had money, but their money was tied up in everything. Whether it was the mortgage, the nice car, you know what I'm saying? Other little bills, other investments. Half of them didn't really have what you thought they had, that they could just dig and just go at it. You know what I'm saying? And so they are struggling to pay credit card bills, leasing a car, the mortgage. You know what I'm saying? They don't have nothing. Many people don't have nothing. They look like they do. You know what I'm saying? So we struggling. Our people are struggling, and as long as we struggling and fighting against one another, we can't form a formidable defense. But brother, take me out. We got to do this again. We got to do this again, brother. I don't want to hold you up too much long. I know it's bad. You past your big time, and you're like 79. You know what I mean? But yeah, brother. So we got a few more that we got to talk about next week when we come back, bro. I appreciate you, and I need y'all to go to Angel Snup, brother. Why do you don't put your link in here? I
don't know. For some reason, it won't pop up. I try to put it in there. It won't pop up.
Well, you got to put it in the comment section next time. I'm gonna start putting it in the and underneath the show thing.
But I'm easy to find right now. I don't even like to even put it out there because they're flagging my channels.
Why they flagging you? What you do?
That's Sonetta. Sonetta did that, man.
But why?
I don't know. He's just a dirty guy. I don't know what to say about that piece of trash.
Yeah, I be trying to figure out why why they keep flagging you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't care if they keep flagging me. You know what I'm saying? It don't make me no difference. You know what I mean?
I mean, they take my channels. I've had over 100 channels taken down over the year.
Man, we got to get you a channel on TaHawkABay.com then.
Yeah, we're going to have to do that.
Yeah, we got to get you a channel because TaHawkABay.com, I'm gonna be back on that soon, man. I'm just trying to get this work done. But TaHawkABay.com, you can develop your own channel just like this on YouTube.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do that. We're gonna have to. I mean, we getting the numbers, we getting the people. We're gonna have to get to the point where we don't have to worry about this garbage. You know, you making videos like what we're doing here, and then they flag it down. I mean, this is work for us. This, you know, you don't want to just be flagged down as soon as you do. Still, I mean, but YouTube is just silly like that. And Google has a hatred for me anyway. I took them to court back in 2009, and then they don't really like me that much anyway. They just use Sonetta as an excuse. Sonetta flagged the channel. They flagged 50 videos at one time. Now you know that's not Sonetta on his own couldn't do that. That's a Google thing.
Right.
50 videos at one time.
They don't like you?
They don't like me. I don't know what I say. I don't know what I do. I thought I would be having problems here on Moore's World. Shout out to Moore's World TV Citizen.
That's right. Moore's World TV Citizens ain't gonna let you get flagged like that. And I'm gonna tell you, if I turn the Moore's World TV Citizens on any of these channels, we'll flag 100 miles a minute. But I ain't gonna flag y'all. I'm gonna let y'all talk. I'm gonna let y'all live. You know what I'm saying?
It ain't even that serious, but yeah.
I like people's opinion.
Yeah, I like your opinion too. I mean, look, we had a nice conversation for 2 hours or whatever, and I'm not getting down with what you're talking about.
Yes, you is. I'm getting you a fez. I'm gonna get you a purple fez. You have that class of chilling.
I would wear a fez. That don't bother me none. That's my brother.
You coming on home though. I'm gonna bring you home.
Yeah. No, I'm not coming to the Moore side too.
You coming on home, man. Angel Snup Bay. Angel Snup 7 Bay. My brother, I got to get out of here, man. I'm gonna grab me a little snack tonight. But brother,
yes,
I appreciate
sir.
you. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show. I can't wait the next week that we tackle this topic again.
Yes,
We're gonna tackle it till it's done.
Till it's done.
All right.
All right.
All right. Peace and love, my brother.
Peace.
That's right. That's my brother, Angel Snup Nup. I really like those conversations, man. I don't care what nobody say. I like them conversations. But now, as I get out of here, family, I just wanted to say to you, you know what I mean? I want y'all to let me have a good night. I want y'all to go ahead and have a good night. Grand Poobah, I've been already in here for 2.5 hours. I'm not hitting no link. You can come on the show tomorrow if you email me. But one thing we ain't gonna do is start a whole nother conversation at 2 hours and 38 minutes of one show. All right? So, brother, if you want to deal with this information that I got for you, email me at tahalkabay@gmail.com. Tell me the subject matter and be prepared to show your face on the camera tomorrow night. Because I like the people to see who I'm going to give a valuable lesson to. Follow what I'm saying? All right. Shout out to King Moab. Yeah. Sonny Boxing in the building. Angel Snuffed Up in the building. Baby Jeannie, how y'all doing? Man, thank you for everybody who participated. Eric Vaughn, Mellow Cop. Even thank you, Grand Poobah. Grand Poobah say I'm sacred. He said, my man is sacred. That's what he said. Grand Poobah said, my man is sacred. Thank you, Grand Poobah. Appreciate the thought. Thank you to Kelvin Thornton. 12. That's right. Southpaw Panner. Pretty crystal clear. That's right. Thank you all. Candy. I want to thank all y'all for joining me tonight. Yeah. That's right. I told y'all I'm getting ready for my disc jockey job. Because YouTube don't last too long. Yeah. Salute. Appreciate y'all, family. But try to be back tomorrow. I would love for Grand Poobah to hit me. That would be a great conversation. He's going to prove that I'm not a Moor. Looking forward to that. With that being said, family, take care of yourself and always love one another like you want to be loved. This is the Professor.